Good afternoon. This is the Alto Musicality and Phrasing session, which I'd like to call phraseology, just because it mixes the two up. We've got some lovely altos here, people I've seen before, and some people I haven't seen before. Some people it's the first time in their collective experience, which is great. And this is the, like I said, the phrasing musicality. So I'm going to be doing a lot of talking at you. Now let's just see. I would like to start off by playing just the beginning of the score. So let's go for that bit. I'm going to play the all parts track just because. Right from the beginning. Oh, you will hear that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Aha, just before you launch into it. The reason I started right at the very beginning is because what are the words? The words are do. They're not exactly words that bring to mind some emotion. It's just a word. However, the music that Simon's written around it and the way that it flows up and comes down again both times, there's two phrases there, and the way that he makes that happen gives do life. But it's not just the phrase of do. It's every single note in that phrase that has life as well. So just have another quick listen to it and see if you can hear how Simon, there's a little ebb and flow on every single note. It's quite subtle, but it's definitely there. Let's have another play.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you hear it? So every single note, and it's easier on a longer note to give that note a little bit of life, a little bit of ebb and flow, much easier on a longer note. On shorter notes, it's harder. But what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve with musicality and phrasing is to make every single note have life, every single note have meaning. And every single note that has that makes every phrase have life and meaning, which you can also shape the whole phrase. And you can also shape the whole section of the song in which those phrases lie. So what is important to singers is, and is important to our listeners, is not only the fact that we sing beautifully, it's the fact that we believe in the message of the song that we're singing. I don't think we're going to find that very hard, are we, with this song? It's quite an emotional song. And if you let it, it can get the better of you. But as singers and as performers, if we were performing to a live audience, breaking apart and falling into tears is not going to be, audiences don't come to see that. They come to see you believe what you're singing about, and they come to see you perform. And even though we're doing it on our own, we've got the luxury, actually, of being in our bedrooms, recording on our own, doing as many takes as we want, blubbing if we want to, that doesn't matter. But the take that we want is the take that has you believing in the story in it without going over the edge. So you need to find the emotion that suits you for this song. It's not good enough to have somebody else's emotion. You need to find the story. For me, it's about the collective. It's about the fact that we were thrown into this situation and we couldn't go singing anymore. So we found this, and it's coming to an end. It is coming to an end, but it's not the real end, if you see what I mean. It's the end of this part of the experience. So that's, for me, is quite hopeful, that even though it's not the end and it's coming to the end, it gives me hope that one day we'll be together in person and we'll get to sing together. So the middle of the song for me is all about hope. Towards the end, it's all about hope and joy and how lucky we are to have this whole experience. It's amazing. And that's what this song is for me. It might not be that for you. It might be something more personal. It might be something that's not personal at all. Whatever you need to do to get through the song, but also to emote the song, is important. And we can do that by looking at the phrasing. So let me just I'm going to bring up the score now. I'm bringing up the full score. No, I'm not. I'm going to bring up the alto score because that's what I've just clicked on. There we go. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So there's lots of clues in the score. The main clues we've got are the fact that we've got some annotations here. So pianissimo, piano even. I'm not very good at music. I didn't do very well in my music. So piano, meaning soft, start soft. And these diagonally type chevrons mean get louder and then get softer. So we've got a clue there. The way that Simon's written the music is that it goes up and then it comes down, and the dynamics do the same thing, which is what you heard in his recording on both phrases. It goes up and goes down, so there's ebb and there's flow. And then he's asking us to get a little bit louder. However, the tricky bit here is that we've got not got the melody. The tenors have the melody. So what we've done is we start with the melody and then we hand the melody over to the tenor section. And what we're doing here, the part we're playing, is we're like a big cushion or a hug. And we're hugging the rest of the melody, which has gone to another part, and just enveloping them, being a little bit softer. So although we've been asked to sing a little bit louder, we're not going to be as loud as if we would we be singing the melody. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to cushion the tenors, give them a big hug through that phrase because we haven't got the melody. And then they hand it back to us on Let's Not Pretend. And we're still in a little bit louder than we were at the beginning, but we're not really growing much in volume throughout the whole section. However, we do need to live each note. We do need to live each phrase. We do need to allow the notes to exist, rather than just singing. Let's example. Where's the example here? It's not the end, my friend. Everything has happened for a reason. Let's not pretend it's not been hard. It's perfectly good notes. There's nothing in it. Let's not pretend it's not been hard. A little bit of growth on all of those little notes gives the whole phrase new meaning. It allows you to experience an emotion by doing that. And this is something you can take to every chorus or choir or quartet that you sing with. Every single note is important. Some of them we glance over, but they're still important. They still have a role to play, and we can allow them to live. So we have the melody again on Let's Not Pretend It's Not Been Hard, feeling oh so close while being far apart. That to me is the collective. Feeling really close to you guys, getting to know you through all the Zoom sessions, singing with you, being with you on the virtual screen at the end of when it's all been done, it's all been mixed, and I'm pointing out people saying, oh, I know her and I know her, but I don't actually know any of you. That's the weirdest thing, but I feel really close to you all. It's really bizarre. And that's that phrase, that's what I feel. So I feel quite joyful at that bit when it's feeling oh so close while being far apart. It's a fact, but it's a joy. It's a quiet joy for me. Is this the life that I thought I'd lead? Good question. All is silent on the empty streets. We know what that feels like. We know what it sounds like. Right at the beginning of the pandemic in March, when there was just nothing on the streets, and if you had to go out, it was so eerily quiet. It was really strange. So it's a little bit of time for reflection. And this is one of the most important words in any song, but. A tiny little word. But what a but does is change the whole meaning. It's a clue. A but, a yet, an and, or a when are mood changes. So what it's saying is we're going to change the mood here. So what we've had is we've had a little bit of sadness, a little bit of hope, a little bit of questioning, a little bit of reflection, but then a message rings out so true. It's a change. It's a positive step. I'm not alone. I'm right here with you. So can you feel that change in just that one little word? We get to experience a mood change, a lift. It doesn't have to be that way. For me, it is that way in this song. It's a little lift, but it's almost like listening for that message that came. To me, the message was from Simon. Sorry, Simon, I keep mentioning your name here, but it is your fault. So it was just a little call with that Dover project. Come and sing with us. It's like, okay. And that's what the message for me was, that little reaching out to all of us. No matter if you started with Dover or One Voice, or You've Got a Friend in Me, or Dear Evan Hansen, doesn't matter which part of the project you came into, you heard that message. And you're not alone. We're all together. Again, that but then a message rings out so true is the only place there in that section that we don't have the melody. So who does the melody go to? It goes to the tenor section. So what are we going to do? We're going to support them. So when we sing, all is silent on the empty streets, but then a message rings out. Let them have the melody. So come back just ever so slightly. It's a harmony part at that point. Just come back ever so slightly so that you allow if we were singing all together, you would allow that voice to come through without them having to shout it. So you're handing the melody across to them, and then they're passing it back to us. They pass it back to us on, I am not alone, I'm right here with you. We do get most of the melody. It's really lovely. So with you, so here I stand, it's not the end. Again, here we go. We've not got the melody again. We've handed it back to the tenors, and it's quite low in our range. So just kind of sit and relax on that one and give them a little bit of support. Remembering still as a harmony part that you'll need to give each note ebb and flow. You need to give each note life. You can do that through breath management. You can do that, I think it's actually all through breath management. I'm sure Rebecca will pipe up if that's not the case. So with you, my friend, we've come so far. Let's see it through. I'm not alone. That much is true. That's like, yes, we can do this. And that's another place we haven't got the melody. So halfway through that phrase, one day we'll stand side by side, oh how, where our job is to support the tenors again. So that whole phrase, we are cushioning, carrying, supporting, cuddling, however you want to put it. And my screen has just gone blank. Oh, there we are. Phew. Great. Okay, so they pass the melody back to us right in the middle of a sentence. Oh, how our becomes ours again. So we need to know this. We need to know when we're not singing the melody and when we are singing the melody, especially in a case where it's halfway through a sentence like that, because we've been singing as a cushion or a supportive member of the chorus up until oh how, and then all of a sudden we've got the melody again. Now what we don't want to do is blurt it out. So we're nice and subtle, side, oh how, our hearts. We don't want to do that. So you need to grow into it. So you can use the how to grow into the hour to bring the melody back to ourselves. How our hearts will fill with pride when all around was dark and blue. I found my star, you found one too. That is such a positive message. But at the beginning of the song, this whole section just before bar 41, it's reflective, it's gentle, it's not bullish or loud. It's still quite soft, but very present and very sure. You're sure because we found our stars. Then we're coming into the bridge section. So bar 41 for about 8 bars is the bridge. And so we know that things have changed. We're still mezzo piano. We're still quite soft, but not very soft. And so we know that things must change. We know that life must rearrange. but all we've seen and all we've done will shape the world for years to come. How true is that statement? How true is that? Because what we've managed to do in this whole collective thing, we've had to change our lives. All of our lives have changed. Every single person on the planet has changed life. And it's all been rearranged. And some of us are now starting going back to work, which is another change we've got to deal with. But everything that we've done in this project with the collective will shape the world because it's worldwide. How can it not affect? It's cause and effect. It can't not affect the entire world. And it's not, obviously, it's not just the collective that's going to change the world. People's perceptions of what they need, what they want, what they actually don't need and what they actually don't want has changed the way we think. And then we get to bar 50, back to the chorus, reprise of the chorus. So here I stand, it's not the end. Oh, look, we've not got the melody again. I see the light with you, my friend, we've come so far. So just give those tenors a little bit of comfort. We're getting stronger now. As you've seen with the dynamics, actually, I missed that bit out. I should have not missed it out. We've got a mezzo forte here. I think I'm saying it right. Getting a bit louder, basically. But all we've seen and all we've done. Now, for me, that's a bit controversial to get loud there because my notes go down, as do yours, because we're all alto. They go down there and they stay quite low. They're not very low, but they stay quite low. Why should I get loud when it's not a big, up, high kind of music? The reason is because everybody else and the chord structure, the chords that Simon's written at that point is very uplifting and it's lifting us all. So we can't just be blinkered and look at our own phrasing and our own music. We have to look at the whole to understand what the dynamic story is going to be and why we've been asked to do something a certain way. So it's one of those things where sometimes the music and the dynamic doesn't match. But it actually does if you look at the whole piece. We'll shape the world for years to come. So here I stand. Now we are determined. We can use all of our knowledge in how to grow notes, how to ebb and flow, which we will go through. At this point, stand really tall. Your sound will be tall. Smile on your face. The smile will come across in your sound. You'll have a nice bright sound. So here I stand, it's not the end. Give those tenors another cuddle. I see the light with you, my friend, we've come so far. So that's their bit. Let them have the melody and then they'll give it back to us. Although in the tenor section, Laura kept saying, they've stolen the melody back from us again. So they give it to us, I think. Let's see it through. I'm not alone, that much is true. One day we'll stand side by side. So you can see, again, stand side by side, we've not got the melody. And we can sing it as if we've got the melody, but just be aware when you're singing a harmony part in your ensembles that you don't sing it as loud as you have been singing it if you've got the melody. Because what you don't want to do is make somebody else sing louder than you, because that will make them sing not as beautiful. So be aware. There's ebb and flow in the volume as well. Hearts will fill with pride when all around was dark and blue. I found my star. You found one too. It's not the end with you, my friend. It's not the end. Now, for me, that is the biggest, happiest statement of all. Never the end. Because of what we've got. Emotionally, all these connections we've got around the world. It's just amazing. And there's never going to be a convention or a barbershop meeting or a choir gathering or a competition or a sing out that you ever go to ever again where you won't remember this project, and you'll probably meet people that were in it because there's so many of us. It's going to be joyful. It will never end. So in a nutshell, that's the music. And I'm just going to unshare my screen again so that I can all look at you, because I've only got 3 minutes left of this session. So what I'd like to do is, yes.
I just wanted to make a comment. As you were going through it, I could see it as a conversation. And when we don't have the melody, we're giving that conversation to the other part. And it's like we're talking to each other, even though we're still singing, we're talking to each other and we're confirming how we feel with each other. And I think that will help me. So maybe it would help someone else.
Absolutely, yes. You need to have, in order to sing with musicality and with good phrasing, you need to have an understanding of the emotional message you are giving. So whatever it is, whatever it takes for you to understand and believe in the words and the music is all going to help. And you're absolutely right. I think it is a conversation. It's like with Dear Evan Hansen song that we did. There was a lot of almost like call and response. I'll say this, you say that. And it's just reconfirming feelings and emotions. And even with one voice, there's a lot of call and response in one voice. And it brings a whole chorus and choir together because you're all involved in it, because you're all doing things like that. It's fabulous. So I'm just going to stop the recording right now.